Okay, Unit 9, targets 5 through 6, homework number 19. I have one angle measure. I want to check to see if I can use the law of sines. I have angle A, but I do not have side A. So because I do not have an angle and the side across from it, I cannot use the law of sines. That means I'm going to use the law of cosines. Actually, keep that highlighted. Maybe I'll change the highlight color. Change it to blue because in this equation I have to the right, the equation I have to the right with the x squared and the y's and the z's and the cosine x, that equation is the structure of the law of cosines. Your teacher may have showed you the a squared equals b squared plus c squared and all those formulas, but all those formulas are the same formula with the letters moved around, and they all use the same structure. The structure is that the side you start with has to be opposite the angle you're working with. And this will always be one of two things. It'll either be the angle you have. For example, the only angle I have right now is 35 degrees, is angle A. So I'm going to be working with side A. The side and the angle have to be opposites of each other. The other thing it could be is it could be the angle you want to have. So if I was trying to find angle C, then I would start this structure with side C. So that's the structure. The other two numbers that you see, the y and the z, they'll show up a couple of times. Those are the other two sides that are not in that opposite relationship you're working with. So right now, I'm going to focus on angle A and side A. Those are opposites. I have angle A, so that's why I'm starting there. So my equation is going to start with a squared equals the other two sides squared minus 2 times each side, minus 2 times 9 times 7 times the cosine of the angle I have, or the angle I want. So I have angle A. When I have all the numbers on the right and no letters on the right that are left to be plugged in, I can use my calculator to type all that in. So I'm going to type in 9 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 9 times 7 cosine 35. So 9 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 9 times 7 times cosine of the angle we had, which was 35. And just hit enter. So that 26.78684, that's my side squared. 26.8 if I was rounding. So just to write down my work, what I have so far is I have a squared equals 26.8. But I don't want a squared, I want a. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. I don't want to take the square root of this rounded number though. I want to do it in my calculator. So I'm going to take the square root of the answer. You can get that by doing second and the negative sign to give you the answer. Or in some of your calculators, you can just press the up button and it will select the answer. And I get 5.1756. So I am going to round this to 5.2. So A, which is what I was looking for, A is equal to 5.2. All right, so I did that and I found one side. So now I have all three sides of the triangle. I'm actually going to clone this page. And what I'm going to do now is I need to go through the law of cosines again to find one of the other two angles. So I'm going to get rid of some things that I had. We know A is equal to 5.2. And now I'm going to focus on another angle. So I'm going to use the same structure, pick an angle. You can choose angle B or angle C. I'll do angle B. I'm going to use the angle and the side opposite it. So my side is going to be side B, which is a 7. My angle is going to be cosine of angle B because that's the angle I want. So I start with a 7 squared, and I'm going to end with times cosine B. The rest of the equation is that 7 squared equals the other two sides squared, so 9 squared plus 5.2 squared, minus 2 times each of those, so times 9 times 5.2, and then times cosine of the angle B. Because of the way this is set up, I can't just plug it in my calculator. On the right side of the equation, I have a B, so I can't just plug it in my calculator. What I need to do is simplify this a little bit and realize that it's just an algebra equation that we can solve using our steps. So one thing I know is that 7 squared is equal to 49. I can then break this up into parts. So 9 squared plus 5.2 squared. 9 squared is 81. And then plus 5.2 squared, I get 108.04. I stopped at those two numbers because the rest of the numbers in green are all being multiplied together, so it makes a separate term. So negative 2 times 9 times 5.2 is negative 18 times 5.2. That's negative 93.6. And then I have this cosine B that's also being multiplied. So now I have an algebra equation that I need to work out backwards. It's really no different than a two-step algebra equation where you need to subtract a number on both sides and you need to divide on both sides. So I'm going to start by subtracting this 108.04. So 49 minus 108.04 is negative 59.04. And I still have the rest of this other stuff, so equals negative 93.6 times the cosine of B. I'm going to divide by that, divide by 93.6, negative, divide by negative 93.6. And I get a decimal that I'm rounding, 0.6308, which will equal the cosine of B. Which means I'm going to do the inverse cosine of my ratio, and that will give me angle B. So I'm going to go to my other calculator so you can see that. Okay, we started those steps with 49 minus 108.4. Then we took that answer, negative 59.4, and we divided by negative 93.6. And we got our 0.63 ratio. That was my ratio for the cosine, so I do inverse cosine of my answer, or some of your calculators you can press the up arrow to get that, then hit enter. So 50.6, 50.61. So my angle B is equal to 50.6 degrees. If I put that in the triangle at 50.6, I can then use the triangle sum theorem to get the rest. So 180 minus the sum of the two angles I have is 94.4. And I'm finished.